What's happening, Cowboy Nation? This is GenX Cowboy coming to you from Family First. We got a lot to talk about. The game tomorrow and last week. We're going to talk about the number one problem in the game plan in Dallas. I know it's going to be redundant, but people know exactly what I'm talking about. Let's get it. We got Guyton. Guyton is out. He was demoted. I don't know if you guys caught that in his press conference, but we're going to talk about that as well. But I really want to get into this TV mount poll. Trevon Diggs' excuse for missing damn near 2 months. Let's get into it. What's happening, family? I am GenX Cowboy coming to you from Family First. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Plan to bring you guys some great content moving forward. All right, guys, I want to get into it, man, straight up. Let's talk about what our number one problem in Dallas is. And a lot of you think it's the same thing that everybody says, and I'm going to go in depth about what I think it really is, because it's more to that, right? Now, our defense has been trash all season, right? And people will look at Eberflus as the number one problem. He's not the number one problem. He's a major problem, and I want him gone, but he's not our number one problem. Number two, people will look at Schottenheimer. He's the head coach. He's responsible for the 6-8-1 record that we have. He's responsible for the defense, the offense, and special teams, and two of those units are terrible. But again, he's not our number one problem. He's not. We all would point the finger at Jerry Jones being the number one problem in Dallas. And you will be right, partially, right? I would say that's 50% of the number one problem. The other 50 is his family. You know, the ones who won't speak up, the ones who sit back and just let things happen. And the ones who won't start a coup of changing something in this organization, because we have 30 years of the same thing. You would think that they would say, enough. We all have to get together and go against this man. Now, most will look at it and say, hey, well, wait a minute. Jerry went and got Quentin Williams this year. He went and got George Pickens. He went and got Javonte Williams. He did a good bit this year. And to that, I would say, yes, he did. But it's not just those moves. See, you have to be a GM for the entire year. See, Jerry is more reactive than proactive. The thing with Parsons, that was just a debacle of how he handled that. That threw the whole season off in a sense, right? Nobody was ready for that. Even Eberflus, I would say. He wasn't ready for that. So he threw everything off. And not only that, we can go back years and years of him just hiring regular coaches. He doesn't want to spend on coaches. Parcells and Mike McCarthy are probably the highest he's ever paid for coaching. Other than that, in the last 30 years, he's been going to the bargain bin, Dollar Tree, for coaching hires. Nobody wanted Jason Garrett as a head coach. Nobody wanted Dave Campbell as a head coach. Nobody interviewed neither one of them. And nobody wanted Schottenheimer as a head coach or OC. He didn't interview for any of those things. As a matter of fact, the reason we gave him the job, because he blowed us away. He was being hired for the offensive coordinator for this position. Now, here's the problem with that. Our GM, once again, he's hiring coordinators. He ain't hired the head coach yet, but he was interviewing for offensive coordinator positions and ain't hired the head coach. And because of that, because he was blown away by the offensive coordinator with Schottenheimer, he went and hired Schottenheimer as the head coach. See, Jerry has to get out the way, period. You're trying to hire every aspect of the coaching staff. You want to hire the defensive coordinator, the offensive coordinator. You don't want the coach to bring in the people he is bringing in? We're going to leave that alone. Let's keep it moving. Now, let's talk about Guyton, man. Guyton got demoted while he was hurt. And the reason he was demoted, Guyton's been out for the last 2 years. He's missed 7 games. 7 games, guys. You can't have it as a left tackle. This is a young guy. He's been out 7 games in 2 years. Tyler Smith is our new left tackle, and they're going to try him for the rest of the season and going in the next season and thinking about it. Tyler Smith is a Pro Bowl, all-pro left guard. If the plan is have Tyler Smith at left tackle, Cooper Beebe at left guard, which is his natural position, go get a center in free agency or the draft, high, 3rd round at least in the draft, and then have Barron as the right guard, and then Guyton and still fight out for right tackle, I'm all aboard on that. If that's the plan, let's keep moving. The Flus failure. The Flus failure, I got my answer to who hired Matthew Eberflus. In Jerry's press conference after the game on Sunday, he said that he was responsible for hiring Matthew Eberflus. And that goes into everything I just was talking about. That ties into the major problem. He's hiring coordinators for head coaches. And the reason he's doing that, because the head coach he's hiring, they're yes men. They're yes men. They won't tell him no. How did Cat Williams say, you gotta tell Diddy no. You gotta tell him no. Right? Don't take the job if he's gonna hire people for you. You just want a payday. If you just want a payday, so be it. Go for it. But if you got any kind of semblance of a backbone, you don't need to come here as a head coach. That's why Ben Johnson didn't want to come. I wanted Ben Johnson as the head coach. I wanted Brian Flores. That was my number 1 target for the head coach last year. But Ben Johnson was a candidate, and I was excited. We didn't even interview him. And rumor came out that Ben Johnson wouldn't even want to come here because he has a backbone. You're not going to hire his coaches. Now, let's get into this TV Mount Pole gate. This man actually wanted Cowboy Nation to believe that a TV fell on his head, and that was the reason he's been out for damn near a month and a half. You got to be crazy. Brother, I know this, and I'm going to say what everybody want to say. You quit. Let's call it what it is, bro. You quit on the team. And all that crap you talk about, my brothers, I'm here for my brothers, that's bullshit. I'm going to call it straight up what it is. That's bullshit. For your brothers? Bruh, our cornerback, Trevon Diggs, has been battling to come back off of surgery, off of being hurt. We needed our cornerback. Deron Bland is getting the bricks beat off of him. He's struggling. Well, he needed his number 1 right-hand man cornerback to be there with him. Where was his right-hand man at? Hanging TVs? Getting hit in the head with a mount pole? Which hit you, the pole or the TV? Let's say that really happened. That's going to allow you to be out for almost 6 weeks, bro. That's going to allow you to be out of commission for almost a month and a half. I've seen players get their damn head knocked off, come back and play next week, and they're going full speed like a car wreck. You telling me a TV hit you in your head when you was out all that time? Man, who you think you're talking to, man? Ain't nobody no new fool. I ain't no fool at all. And the Cowboy Nation ain't no fool. But you got to be a new fool if you think we gonna believe that crap you gave us. Let's call it what it is, man. Let's keep it a buck. You quit, family. You quit because your boy Michael Parsons left. You was hurt by that. You're a little sensitive to that. Right? I understand it. You know, that's your boy you threw Dak under the bus within your podcast. You know, y'all remember? Yeah. And now he gone, and all of a sudden you getting hurt at the house. Get out of here with all that crap. Move on, man. Let's keep it a buck. Let's move it on, guys. Let's get back to Schottenheimer. Now, I put a post out last week about the grade you will give Schottenheimer. Some people said A-, B+, C+, D's. He is a wide array of grades. My grade would be a C+. Schottenheimer has done a lot of things in the offseason that I didn't like, I didn't care for. Number one, not playing Tyler Booker in his first preseason game ever in his life, holding him out. I thought that was weak. I thought that was soft. Okay? That was the main thing. Him and Joe Milton and Dak Prescott doing Greek dancing. Y'all help me with this, and y'all hear me out with this. Is it me? Or is Schottenheimer more of a fan than he is of a head coach of these Dallas Cowboys? You know, I watch him in the press conference and how he's jovial with all the reporters and he's just happy to be here, and how he acts with the players, and he tries to be their friends instead of being a disciplinarian. You know, when you're a coach, you got to be a disciplinarian, because there are going to be things that they're going to do that you're going to have to check. And when you become their friends, you become so close, you can't check them because they're going to look at you crazy. You can't be their friends and their disciplinarian head coach. You could be close to your players. I'm going to use my kids, for example. My sons, I know these are grown men, but I'm going to use them as an example. My sons, right? I'm close to my sons. I'm very close to my sons. But I ain't so close to know that they're going to disrespect me. I ain't too close that they will even have an inclination about disrespecting me. I got to be the disciplinarian, and they know that. Now, how has these players disrespect Shotty? I got two examples. The first example is when Michael Parsons, I don't know if you guys remember this, when Michael Parsons played a prank phone call on Brian Schottenheimer called a goodnight prank. This when you call a teammate or a guy, a homeboy, your friend, your buddy, you call a male and you talk for a little bit, then you say, all right, man, good night. And you know, most males, when you tell another male good night, we look at you crazy. That was the prank. And it was going all around the internet. You know, everybody was doing it. This man decided to record it and do it to his head coach. I put it on my, go back and look at my videos. I got a video on it on my channel. And a lot of you thought it was funny. A lot of you thought it was, that's Michael Parsons tripping, man. That's good that he got that relationship with his coach. I thought it was disrespectful. Number one, Brian Schottenheimer didn't know he was being recorded. Right? Number two, you don't play like that with your head coach, bro. You see anybody doing Mike Tomlin like that? How about Andy Reid? How about the coach in Detroit? You see anybody calling him, playing with him like that? You know why they won't do that? Because they got respect enough not to do that. And when you lose respect, that means you done got too close. You done got too close to your players. You want to be their buddy. But see how they disrespect you? That's my first example. Look at CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens in Las Vegas. They stay out past curfew, get drunk. They come, had a great game. But why would they try you like that? And before y'all say, oh, that happens around the league all the time, we don't hear about it. And I'm pretty sure it happens before around the league, but not to that extent. Why would they try their buddy? Because, see, he close. And a lot of us gave Schottenheimer praise because he took him out, set him out that first series. But what did he do after that? Y'all remember? When they were having a good game, he went over there on the bench and he laughed and he joked and he played with them. And I got a problem with that because you either gonna be a disciplinarian or you gonna be their friend. Which one, bro? Which one? And it goes back to, are you a fan? Are you the coach? Because you sound like a fan. So what are you? Are you the head coach of the Cowboys, or are you a fan? Make your mind up, bro. Let's keep it moving. Now let's talk about the second half offense. Now this also has something to do with Brian Schottenheimer. Again, offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator, all they do in any football game is play chess, right? Who's winning on the chessboard? In the first half, Brian Schottenheimer was winning. He was kicking their butt. Dak Prescott was on fire. He was just on fire. He wasn't missing anything. He was in his bag. Second half, they didn't score a point because the defensive coordinator went into the locker room and he devised a plan. He changed some pieces up on that chessboard. And it was up to Brian Schottenheimer and Dak Prescott to change the pieces to match what they were doing in the first half. And they didn't do it. We were out-coached in the second half. That's what it all comes down to. We were out-coached. And that's the bottom line. And again, that goes to Brian Schottenheimer. See, when you want to give these guys a B+, B-, you got to take all of that into account. In the last 5 games, if you look at the numbers, offensively, we aren't the same team that we were in the first half. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but I'm telling you, the last 5 games, we didn't look the same. Trust me on that. So again, defense stepped up in the second half. Offense was nowhere to be seen. And that's Brian Schottenheimer and that's Dak Prescott. They're a combination now. Can't separate them. The reason Brian Schottenheimer has a job because of Dak Prescott. Let's keep it a buck, and let's keep moving. Now, let's just say, for the sake of sanity, that Jerry fires Eberflus. And I'm talking about, when I say fire Eberflus, I'm talking about quick. I ain't talking about waiting and evaluating all the defensive coordinators around the league that have been hired at different teams. And then we're trying to pick out of the last bit of what's left. I'm talking about fire immediately. Who would be my number 1 and number 2 options as a defensive coordinator? My number 1 option will be the guy who I wanted as our head coach last year, Brian Flores. Brian Flores is an excellent defensive mind, but not just defense, football mind. He's an excellent football mind. This dude got a bad rap in Miami with him and the owner, and they got into all kind of mess, and they actually blackballed Brian Flores for a while, but he was such a great coach that he kept showing up in different places. And now he's in Minnesota, and he has 1 year left on his contract. Go get him. It's a must that we go get Brian Flores as our defensive coordinator. My fallback option to this, and if this happens, it will be perfect. If the Commanders fire Dan Quinn, come on back home, man. Come on back, Dan Quinn. Now, this is if we don't get Brian Flores. But if Dan Quinn gets fired and we don't get Brian Flores, bring Dan Quinn back as defensive coordinator. And I guarantee you this, and I know players are going to change next year. Hopefully, anyway. I think we're gonna have a big change in players next year. But I guarantee you this. If Dan Quinn had the players that we have right now, today, right now, I guarantee you we wouldn't be last in the league. That's how good of a coach Dan Quinn is. And I don't know, this Eberflus guy, he's out of touch. I don't know what it is, but I guarantee you Dan Quinn would have had this team playing not as a top 10 defense, because we do have, we under-talented. But we would have been in the middle somewhere. We wouldn't have been last with Dan Quinn. So if I can have my druthers, I would have Brian Flores as my defensive coordinator. And if I can't get him, if the Commanders fire him, go get Dan Quinn. All right, guys, I'm going to give you my last final thoughts. We have 2 games left. We got a game tomorrow against the Commanders. Merry Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa to everybody. Let's get through this season, man. Let's get into this draft. Hopefully we get 2 good first-round picks. I'm going to give you guys a blueprint in my next video of what I think we can do to get back to the playoffs and win the championship next year? That's going to be in the next video. All right, guys, I am GenX Cowboy coming to you from Family First. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I plan to bring you guys some great content moving forward. Y'all stay up.